Hey everybody, how y'all doing this morning, this Saturday morning? Been seeing this interview passed around with Joy Reid and Byron Donaldson. I don't know why Byron Donaldson went on her show. I really don't. Joy Reid despises strong black men. Any black man that's not Democrat approved first, Joy Reid tears them down. Here, she made this quote about Jim Crow, tearing down black men.
Now I want to talk about something that happened during this era. You said that what you were talking about was the presence of the black father in the home to protect his wife and family. In 1943, in the state that you represent, in Florida, a young man named Willie James Howard, who was 15 years old, was lynched. During Christmas of 1943, Willie Howard sent cards to all of his coworkers at the Van Priest dime store in Live Oak, Florida. Unlike the other cards, Willie's card to Cynthia Goff, a white store employee, revealed a youthful crush. His greeting expressed hope that white people would someday like black people and concluded, "I love your name, I love your voice. For SH, sweetheart, you are my choice." After reading the card, Cynthia's father, Phil Goff, brought two friends to the Howard home and demanded to see Willie. Despite his mother's pleading, the men dragged Willie away and then kidnapped Willie's father, James Howard, from work. The men drove the two Howards, to the embankment of the Suwannee River, bound Willie's hands and feet, stood him at the edge of the water, and told him to either jump or be shot. Willie jumped into the cold water below and drowned while his father was forced to watch at gunpoint.
Was he lynched or was he drowned? I'm sorry, I guess Byron Donaldson didn't pick up on that. Was he lynched or was he drowned?
Willie's dead body was pulled from the river the next day. You said that during the Jim Crow era, the importance of having a black man in the home was to protect his family and to protect his wife.
Black men died protecting their families during Jim Crow when the Klan would come. See, the stories she particularly pointed out was when they took two men, the father and son, put him on the ground. He had to watch his son drown as a testimony to all black men were cowards back then. Really? How many black men died protecting their families? This is what black women do who support the Democrat Party. They tear down black men. And she got a blonde wig. She gonna say this about Byron Donaldson's marriage.
During Jim Crow, could your family have existed? You are in an interracial marriage. Your wife is a white conservative activist. Could your family have existed at all during Jim Crow?
No, it could not, Joy. We all know that. But that's why I am blessed to live in America today as opposed to America during that time.
First of all, Joy Reid, no black woman back then would have dared disgraced herself and wore blonde hair. Black women wouldn't disgrace themselves in his area because they recognized what you was doing would be considered cooning, being a comfort girl. And he could have married a woman outside his race, Latino, Asian, Indian. Black folk was marrying people like that the entire time during Jim Crow. Blacks was marrying Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Mexicans, Cubans. Black people were marrying Indians. Black people was marrying Asians, Chinese. So it wasn't a problem. It was white women. Then she made this idiotic comment right here.
You also said, and I'm quoting you again, during Jim Crow, more black people were not just conservative. Black people have always been conservative-minded, but black people voted conservatively. Black people weren't allowed to vote at all during Jim Crow.
Well, first of all, there were areas in the United States where black people did vote. It wasn't universal throughout the United States. So let's just be perfectly honest about that. I just told you it was not universal.
We know Jim Crow wasn't
there were areas, but obviously black people were suppressed from voting. That's what the purpose of.
Black people were voting back then. Were we voting in the numbers we're voting in now? No, but we were voting back then. And this is the problem of these Democrat first blacks. They lie about black history to satisfy the Democrat Party.